Je vous salue, Mary. Welcome to AEW. I am RJ City, and my guest is Speedball Mike Bailey. Hey!
Thank you so much for having me, RJ.
What's it like being so French?
So I don't know what it is because I've never not been so French.
Yeah,
I would need to have a comparative experience.
Yeah.
So well, Québécois. I don't even like French Canadian. I prefer Québécois.
Okay.
It's not French. When you say French, people think from France.
Right.
Which people mix up all the time.
Yeah, it's a totally different ballgame.
I was watching Twin Peaks recently, and they have some. I'm gonna bring this around. Don't worry. It's a long detour, but it'll come back.
I hope so.
So there's some Canadian characters in Twin Peaks, and even though they're from British Columbia, which is the complete opposite end of Canada, and no one speaks French there, they're still French Canadian because they are Canadian, but their accent is clearly a European, Parisian French accent. So it's all wrong. This happens all the time. Every single TV show, you hear someone with a French accent. It's a Paris French accent, and they can't do the Québécois accent.
So let's clear it up right now. What is the difference between French and French Canadian?
Well, it's the same, basically the same difference as British English and American English. Different words, different accent. Yeah.
So if French is the language of love,
yes,
French Canadian is the language of.
I'm gonna say love, but raunchier,
Dirty,
greasier,
disgusting.
harder.
Hey, you should have washed first.
A less polished, romanticized version of love, but still love.
So if Paris has the Eiffel Tower, Quebec has.
L'Oratoire Saint-Joseph?
Sure.
No, I don't know. The Olympic Stadium, maybe?
That dilapidated giant building?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. And if France has a cheese, Quebec would have?
Cheese, but smaller and in little curds.
Okay. And then if France had berets, Quebec would have?
Expos hats.
Excellent. Really, really good. I don't mean to break K-fob. Would you tell everybody your real full name, please?
My real full legal name is Émile Charles Baillargeon-Laberge.
It is so French.
So not only is the whole name and the pronunciation crazy, imagine how it's spelled. Baillargeon. Can you try to spell Baillargeon?
I have it written down. Yes,
Right.
of course. There's a hyphen. It's a whole thing.
Viewers at home, try to guess how Baillargeon is spelled.
It looks like the back of a wine bottle. It's really, and you thought, well, let's just make everyone think I'm Irish.
Every single time I have to check into a hotel, I just hand them my passport and go, my name's in there. Because if I just go, they go, what's your name? I go, Baillargeon-Laberge. And they go, they just like look at their computer. They try to type something and then they look back at me like, what was that again?
Yeah, it's terrible. Internet deviant Justin Wang tweeted that French Canadians are the closest thing to a white version of Chinese people. Your response?
I don't know enough about Chinese culture to be able to say.
Okay.
He's Asian. Is he part Chinese? That makes sense.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll call it a draw. We'll call it a draw. You call yourself Speedball.
Yes.
Which is a mixture of cocaine and heroin. Why have such a pro-drug message?
It is. So, number one, I don't call myself Speedball. And that's kind of why I like the nickname. Because it was given to me. I didn't just give it.
But you continue to, you repeat it.
I
so
continue
you
to use it, yeah.
Yeah.
So the man who gave me the nickname was Michael Lacor Ryan, who was,
he was a drug addict. You're blaming it on him?
I don't know. Okay. He has passed away. I don't know if it's from drug use or other reasons, but he was a writer. He wrote a lot about Montreal wrestling when I started wrestling, so he did a lot for the scene, and he gave me the nickname, and I kind of took it and ran. But also, from the IWS, which is, a biggest independent promotion in Montreal, the promoter, who you may or may not know, is called PCP Crazy Manny.
Yes.
And he was a big fan of the nickname.
Right.
But I love the nickname. And again, it's not Speedball after the drug combo, which is like a silly place to go immediately, right? When you see a horse, you go, hey, the animals are named after heroin.
No, that's more like saying,
the other way around.
oh, my name's Bob Fentanyl, but not that fentanyl. That's kind of what you're saying.
Do you know anyone named Bob Fentanyl?
I want to.
The Fentanyl family?
I'm going to list people who have allegedly died via Speedball. You tell me if you feel any guilt. John Belushi.
None whatsoever.
Chris Farley.
Nope.
Phillip Seymour Hoffman.
Neither.
A little bit?
Nope.
River Phoenix?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Much better. You started Taekwondo at the age of 11.
Yes.
And that was before the whole MMA craze.
It was.
So you really enjoyed it instead of looking for an alpha male way to bully people?
I did. I feel like it did help me bully people when I needed to.
Right.
But the biggest lesson that I learned from Taekwondo is to always bully up and never bully down.
Exactly. That's a really good lesson. You are now a 4th Dan black belt?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that good?
Fourth degree.
Is that good?
4th degree. Yeah,
Is that a
it's
good
fine.
thing?
It's all right.
That's
Again, belts in martial arts are just like belts in pro wrestling. And I'm sorry to the jiu-jitsu community for what I'm about to say because they take great pride in there's like 4 belts. And getting your black belt takes a million years because it has to mean a lot, right? Which is exactly like wrestling championships. You have to really make it mean something.
Yeah.
But if you have to work so hard to make it mean something, then does it really?
Exactly. Should be called Taekwondo, though. That would have made more sense. You started wrestling when you were 15 years old.
I did.
And for the first 5 years, you worked completely for free. What's it like to undercut your peers?
I wasn't undercutting my peers at all. This is
They
wrong.
were also working for free?
No one was making any money.
Okay, so you just
at
said,
all.
let's...
There was just, again, this is, when I talk about the period where I was wrestling and not making any money, this is pre-Facebook. This is the only way to advertise your wrestling show is by stapling a flyer to a telephone pole and hoping that the other local competitor doesn't rip it off and then no one attends your shows.
Yes.
I wrestled every Friday for the same promotion in front of the same 20 to maybe 50 on a good day people.
You were lucky to get that.
No one was making any money.
No. And do you get paid now?
I get paid now, yeah.
Good, okay, just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.
To make ends meet during that time, you worked as a university janitor.
That's right.
What's the most disgusting thing you ever cleaned up?
So luckily, again, it's a university. They didn't really have to clean up anything.
What? They were all drunk
Disgusting.
and syphilis, you know.
No, because I mostly cleaned classrooms and hallways.
It wasn't like a dormitory. Hey, this guy and
Sometimes, no. Very little like poop or vomit. It is downtown Montreal, so you have to be careful with like.
So there's vomit everywhere already.
Yeah, but outside.
Yes.
But people do like to inject intravenous drugs
Speedball.
in the Well, no, because Speedball I think
comes
is more of a party drug. I think this is more of a
this is why
black
it's your
tar
nickname.
heroin country.
I understand. You first wrestled under the name Mike Sydal.
I did.
The only problem was that there was already actually a Mike Sydal, Matt's brother, who wrestled.
Well, there was in terms of he was born, he existed, but he wasn't wrestling as Mike Sydal.
Right.
I was the first Mike Sydal before Mike Sydal even wrestled.
Did you get approval from Matt Sydal to be Mike Sydal?
Absolutely did not.
Okay.
But I have since. Matt has
late
approved
now.
it. I was a huge fan of Matt Sydal.
Right.
Stole all of his moves, as many as I could, because that's how you become a good wrestler. You find someone who's better than you. You do their stuff and
I
slowly
used to wrestle
turn
as
into
Jolt Cabana.
That makes perfect sense.
You were also in tag teams called the Bang Bros
I was,
and Ninjas with Attitude. You understand why we can't say that anymore, right?
And ninjas with altitude.
Oh, that makes it so much better.
Yeah, because we're high flyers, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And ninjas,
Yeah, I understand. You also did a Reddit AMA 9 years ago. Do you have any regrets?
Nope.
You know, I looked at the whole thing, and
Oh
I'm
my God.
so upset that there's nothing bad in it. It
Well,
was a complete waste of my time.
I feel like I was always relatively social media savvy. I have like scrubbed through my own stuff ahead of like background checks and contract negotiations and things like that. And I found very little posts of mine that were like egregious and awful, which is good.
However, speaking of background checks,
Yes.
in 2016,
Yes.
you're waiting on a U.S. visa, and you say, you know what? Let's go there and wrestle anyway.
So hold on. The waiting on a U.S. visa part is not.
So you said, let's just go rogue.
Well, I didn't really have a choice,
Right.
as was the style at the time.
Sure.
So this is.
You're
Yeah,
blaming
sorry.
the past a lot.
Just do your question. Just do your
Okay. Well, so you got banned for 5 years from the
did.
United States of America. May I say, lucky.
Yes.
Usually that's a discretionary decision. Why do you think the border guard didn't like you?
I think it's just a bad day. It's the border. It's random. Sometimes they just don't like you and they go after you.
Yeah.
However, it was a race against the clock, and it was for many wrestlers from Canada who tried to make it in the U.S. You kind of don't have a choice. No one is gonna get you a visa unless you have a presence in the U.S., which the only way to really acquire that presence was back then, before social media, was to go and wrestle in the U.S. And I think a lot of Canadian wrestlers went and wrestled in the U.S. had to kind of lie their way around it.
You think it's because your name was Speedball?
Um,
Didn't help.
no, I don't.
We can
think
say it
so.
didn't help.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to try crossing as Bob Fentanyl. I'll let you know how it goes. You have anything you want to say to the U.S. government right now?
No.
Excellent. You wrestle barefoot.
I mean, hold on. Back to
Okay.
There's a lot that I want to say.
Sure.
But you know what I mean?
We're in contentious times.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I might get out of the country and have to try to go back in.
I understand
so
how it works. Yeah. Perfect. You wrestle barefoot.
I do.
So much so that, quite frankly, it's alarming to see you with shoes on right now.
Yes.
This isn't Mike Bailey.
They're nice
Your
shoes
ankle
too.
okay? I heard a little crack.
Yeah, no, that
Okay.
just happens all the
They
time.
are nice shoes.
Iridescent Jordan Tatums. I like them. I like to
you're
wear
a-
nice shoes when I do.
French-Canadian barefoot indie wrestler. Did you just want to try to get every disease imaginable?
I was hoping. So I've been lucky. I have never gotten any kind of foot-related illness, which you hear stories of, like Jimmy Snuka. But I think
heard other stories about him, but okay.
right?
Yeah.
Well, as I was going to say, he probably deserved them, but he would get all kinds of foot diseases and
Right.
illnesses and problems, which is something that's never happened to me. But also, I keep my feet clean. I wear flip-flops when I walk around backstage.
Is it a fetish?
I don't know, so it's not.
A little bit.
You would think I'm a
little
foot
bit.
guy.
If you had your ass out as much as your feet, do you understand what I'm saying?
Wait, is it a fetish for me or in general? It's a fetish. It happens.
You.
People
You have a
love
little bit
feet.
of a little bit of foot.
I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
I think that not even I like appreciate good feet, but I understand their use, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And I have muscled feet, which is a thing that people have noticed and pointed out. Like
Sure.
they look different than people who don't do martial arts for decades or work out in bare feet. They look different, and sometimes I see that in people.
Yeah.
Like the shapes of the toes, and it
So
usually
you look at
correlates
other
to how they
people's
move.
feet, but you don't have a fetish.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's
Just
correct.
checking. You've said you're a big fan of AEW.
Yes.
Even though you've mispronounced it on your Twitch many times, and that you've seen every episode.
I think so. I've seen most.
You have a favorite?
Man, so you and Gabe Kidd went on for much longer than it should have.
Yes, and we
And
cut a
he
lot
just-
out. Yeah, I'll tell you what he said
I can
afterwards that we had to
imagine.
take out. Do you have a least favorite episode?
Do I have a least? No, I don't have a least favorite
Ross.
episode.
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross? Why Jim Ross?
I'm just asking.
Was it your least favorite
No,
episode?
no, I'm just
Do you
asking.
have a least favorite episode of AEW?
Yeah. You are an average Twitch streamer.
I am.
Yeah, why do you need so much attention? You're on TV now. Give it up.
It's not that I need the attention, it's that I want to control the attention and control the narrative around Speedball
Oh, don't
Mike
control your
Bailey.
narrative. We don't need controlling narratives. Please. Is your mullet ironic? Like, are you earnestly happy that you have it on your head?
It was ironic initially. It was a post-pandemic haircut
Right.
where, like, I assumed no one would see it and it wouldn't really matter for the longest time.
Yeah.
But I've grown to love it. I've grown genuinely fond of it. I used to have long hair,
Right.
and I really liked it. I thought that looked the best on me than all the other short hairstyles I've had.
Can I?
But
Can I just
yeah, you can touch it.
look at how handsome he is?
Is that a
Look
fetish
at how
for you?
handsome he would be. It is now, and I want to keep my hand here for as long as possible.
Just however long you need is fine.
That's good. That's enough.
All right.
Thank you. You do a standing shooting star double knee to the stomach.
Yes.
How many people do you think you've made themselves?
I don't know. I'm not aware of any yet, but I'm
They're not gonna
hoping.
tell you.
I'm hoping to change that tonight.
I think that's the ultimate cruelty. Because even if they win the match, they've still you've won.
Right. I want to beat them
Yeah.
and humiliate them.
Yes. You've waited famously 10 years to get your match with Kenny Omega. But you also said it was your dream to team with King Mabel, who is now dead. Why'd you wait so long for that?
When did I say that?
I read it online.
Well, I mean, I didn't really have the opportunity to team with King Mabel.
Well, you didn't try.
I think the beauty of professional wrestling is contrast. It's the fact that there are no weight classes and no division in terms of styles.
Yes.
Right? So I think me and King Mabel, I don't think physically there's a wrestler in the world that is further from me than King Mabel.
Well, especially since he's dead.
Especially since he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have tried to make it happen had I had the chance. But do you think if King Mabel were still alive, he would be with AEW now?
I would hope so. I think we'd be having my job. He's got a lot of interesting insights. You are openly non-binary.
Yes.
More shades of gray. And your preferred pronouns are he, him, and they, them.
Yes.
Don't you think you're hugging the pronouns a little?
No, in fact, I want everyone to be able to share and use all pronouns.
Sure.
I understand that I look like a dude, I present as a dude, that's fine. If you want to call me he, I don't mind. I want everyone to use they, them pronouns for everyone until they know their preferred pronouns. That is how I would like it to be.
I just think, you can't have them all. These people who are they, them, and just they, them, and I feel like you're encroaching on their turf. Because if you're a he, him, and a they, them, I'm going to default to he, him.
That's fine. Fair. Again, whatever you want.
This is about they, them, not he, him.
If you see me as more feminine and you want to go she, I won't have a problem with that either.
But you didn't list that.
I didn't list that.
You can't have them all. You got to pick. I think it's unfair to the they, thems. And quite frankly, I don't prefer your pronouns.
Fair. Fair.
You have a wife named Veda Scott.
I do.
Who has done commentary for AEW in the past. Her preferred pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
Yes.
A really greedy couple, huh?
Correct.
You just got to have them all.
We do. We want it all.
What did the priest say when he married you?
It was a thing. So our priest, which is actually in my telephone background, which I can show you, my lock screen, which as you can see here.
And he's a Elvis impersonator?
He's a Elvis.
That's what he looks like? Post-death?
His
he's
name...
not the freshest looking Elvis.
He said, what did he say? Partners in love and in life. Which he was like, okay, this is my first non-binary wedding. I want to make sure I get things right. I'm not going to pronounce you man and wife. That doesn't work. So how about, and he had thought of this, and he presented it. How about partners in love and life? I was like, that sounds great. That's perfect. That's what we are. And his name was Travis, and he knows Chris Jericho.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right?
I think Jericho knows like every Elvis impersonator. Does Veda use the commentary voice during sex? Whoa, look out! She ever do it like that?
I mean, so she does, Veda, use a deeper voice on commentary. And she changes the voice. It's very calculated, okay. But I feel like it's the opposite. Our intimate times are about being free and not beholden to any societal norms. And when she does pro wrestling commentary, it's not her story, right? She's telling the story that's happening in the ring.
Yes.
When
you're private, it's just let's glom every pronoun we can.
It's all about us.
Yep, I understand. You were part of the Canadian Wrestling Museum exhibit.
I am, yeah,
Who
very
should
exciting.
not be in it?
In terms of Canadians? Geez. I don't want dead air. But I don't have a good
going through a Rolodex of people you can't mention.
Well,
okay, how about this? We'll change
can't
this
mention
up.
them, so I'm not
you're
going
very positive about your experiences with wrestling fans, and you claim you don't have anything negative to say about them.
That is correct.
Say one thing. One thing.
I mean, so I don't even like the word fans. I think like implying fanaticism is kind of weird.
Well, they're nuts. But
I don't think that professional wrestling fans as a group are inherently worse than the average population. Probably better, again, because they're passionate about something that I think is incredible in professional wrestling.
Sure.
So, like, narrowing it down to one group, I think, would be very difficult.
They're annoying. They're a little annoying. You can say they're annoying.
So I can't say they're annoying. Some are annoying.
Yeah.
But
most.
The percentage
80% percented. Who's annoying? How many?
What is the percent? In your opinion, you say 80% of pro wrestling fans are annoying.
Yeah.
What is the percentage of people in the general population who are annoying?
I'd say 78.
So two less than, so that's not a significant enough margin to call pro wrestling fans annoying.
Data scientist over here. Okay, fair enough. We'll move on here. Your favorite foods are strawberry cheesecake and green tea.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Are you going through menopause? Because my aunt has the exact same diet.
They don't have, sorry, they don't have green tea at catering, by the way. Only English.
No, they don't.
Tea.
That's a good issue you brought up. They're not consistent with their tea. I want to warn you about
In my second taping, I finished the green tea, and they didn't buy more after that.
So it's your fault. Hagen pronouns and green tea. You've said, quote, I don't have a gimmick, and I think that's key. If you had to have one, and you should, what would it be?
It would be Monsieur Baguette. I would be a Frenchman and very angry, talks about bread and
Because one thing I've gathered from you is that you're not French enough.
No, I'm not French enough, so that's what, gimmick-wise, I lean into it completely.
As for your wrestling style, you've said, quote, nothing with knives or guns and nothing too sexual.
When did I say that?
This is a quote. Yeah, I read your interviews online.
Okay, so this must have been before I went to DDT, because there was a lot of sexual wrestling there.
You said, I try to keep the work a little PG.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're a mullet-having, pronoun-hogging, barefoot, you make people shit themselves. That's at least PG-13.
Which part of that makes it PG-13?
The whole thing. Probably the mullet.
The mullet? So you think there should be a mullet warning before
I don't think kids should be saying this. Yeah, it gives them ideas.
I think you might have a fetish. You want to touch it again?
Say something filthy in French, please.
No, I can't.
Come on.
You're putting me on the spot here.
Just say something filthy.
Something filthy?
From your heart.
No, see, my heart is not thinking filth right now.
From your head. From your groin. From your feet.
T'es beau, RG.
Well, this has been a tabernacle.
Close enough.
And I want to thank you for slowing down your ball with me.
You're very welcome. Played with my mullet, now you're teabagging?